What's up, people? Welcome to the Health is Wealth podcast. I'm your host, Jason Shibley, and this is the show where we talk about the relationship between your health, your wealth, and we're not talking about the push-ups and dollar bills. Today is a fun day. We are going vegan on you today with my friend Esther Java, and we have known each other for a while through our commercial gym that I work at, and that she takes the group training. And she works for a company called No Meat Athlete. We're excited to talk about that. But we're going to first talk about her background, where she's from, all the way up in Memphis, and break down how she became a vegan. So I'm excited to share that with you guys. And yeah, so welcome to the show, Esther.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks. So let's break down how we know each other a little bit more. So you came in to the commercial gym that I work at and you work out at, and jumped into a HIT training program with a broken wrist.
I did. I broke my wrist over the summer of 2017.
Yeah.
I had physical therapy for about 3 months afterwards. And then the insurance decided that I was well enough to go about the rest of my life.
Oh, yeah.
And I was at about, I think it would be kind to say 50% capacity of what I could do. I couldn't hold anything. I couldn't lift anything. So I came to the gym.
Yeah.
And met you. And
Yeah.
you told me that within 3 months, we could have me back up and running and back to normal. You told me by Thanksgiving.
I remember it very clear. You were very honest from the get-go, from the very first workout you came down. I introduced the workout. What we were about to do is a HIT training program that we have. And your fear was just any kind of mobility with the wrist you weren't going to be able to do. You didn't even know how much grip you would just by holding dumbbells or anything. You didn't know. You typically came from a running background before coming into the facility, right?
I was a marathon runner for about 3 years prior and had got really burned out running. I was sick and tired of running and knew I wanted to do something else. Didn't exactly know where that was leading me, and in the process of figuring it out, I broke my wrist.
Yeah.
So everything was kind of starting from scratch. We were at zero. I couldn't hold a 1 pound weight for 1 minute when we first started working.
Was that to the point when you finished your physical therapy and ran out of insurance, and insurance says, nope, we can't do anything else for you?
Yes.
Oh, man, I hear too many stories like that with people coming into the gym that just, they only have one more option, is to try to do it themselves at the gym, and people that are lucky enough like you to actually jump into a program and have coaches guide you through an injury that you're coming off from. So, yeah, but you have that desire that a lot of people that are in your class that you take to just know how to push. And I always make the joke, women have this pain tolerance that they can just push through. There's a reason why they can have babies and I can't.
Well, it was definitely painful. There was a point where I couldn't even put my hand flat on the ground to hold a plank or a push-up at that point. So it was a long process of building the mobility, building the strength. It was painful. Yeah, but
we got through it.
Now
you're to the point where we're doing clap push-ups sometimes off the bench and everything, right?
We are.
We are. Yeah.
I wouldn't say they're pretty, but they
happen.
They happen.
Yeah. So it's never been a doubt that you couldn't do it in my mind. So whether that was in your head when you first came into the facility and we first met, and then over this time, it's been a couple years now, maybe 3 or 4 years now that you've been in these programs with me.
Yeah.
And through that time, I've learned that you're vegan. And like I said at the intro, you work for a company called No Meat Athlete. So let's rewind to, were you a vegan in Memphis? Were you fit in Memphis? Where does all that come together?
I would say I probably did what everyone in their 20s does. I exercised enough to look good in clothes.
Yeah.
I ate just enough to look good in clothes and kind of teetered on an unhealthy line of not eating the right foods, drinking a lot of alcohol, and being 20.
Sounds like my 20s.
And going out and having fun. And December of 2013, I stumbled upon the Netflix documentary Forks Over Knives.
Okay. Yep. I know it.
Is a lot about the health and nutrition of the food we were eating. And it was probably the first time that really health and nutrition really clicked for me. And I really understood that what I was doing wasn't about how many calories you were eating in a day or how many grams of protein you were eating in a day, but what the grams of protein were coming from and where your calories were coming from. And the shift from watching this documentary just made so much more sense that I didn't have to deprive myself of all the foods that I'd always loved, but I could enjoy them if I ate them properly and if I had a really well-balanced diet.
So you said that episode, and I know there was another documentary that you liked as well. That was what?
What the Health.
What the Health. That's one I've watched quite a few times. I've had many conversations with people about it. Documentaries are always typically one-sided. It's one that I actually like, even though I'm not a vegan. But they give you a lot of science. It's easy to find through Netflix as well. But did those documentaries actually help you push to vegan? Were you already exercising regularly? Did you need to change something nutrition-wise? Where were you in your life that made you even think those documentaries had that kind of impact in you?
I have no idea why I watched it, to be honest now. This was December of 2013. I watched this documentary, and honestly, I hadn't had pasta at that point in probably 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I love pasta. I today eat pasta every single day. But at this point, I hadn't had pasta in 5 years. And after watching Forks Over Knives, I kind of felt like I could trade pasta back in for my diet by trading other things out. Yeah. And the other things I was removing weren't things I really loved all that much. I was never a big meat eater. I've never liked milk ever in my life.
But did you like meat? Was there an issue with the animals, with the religion, anything of those? A lot of people they're protesting how animals are slaughtered, or they're doing it for religious purposes. Hey, whatever floats your boat. That doesn't bother me.
It's very nice to know that when I eat 3 meals a day today, that no animals are harmed in feeding me. But my motivation for transitioning my diet was solely selfish.
Yeah.
I wanted to look good. I wanted to not struggle to look good. I wanted to feel good, and I wanted to eat pasta.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
And bread and pasta are delicious, and who the hell wants to give them up?
Yeah.
So it was a purely selfish reason. Now that I have fully transitioned to a vegan diet on New Year's Day 2014.
Okay, so 6 years ago.
6 years ago. And today, it's wonderful to know that the way that I eat is good for the environment, that it's good for the planet, that it's good for the animals, that it's nice to know that I'm not supporting, big agriculture and all these terrible things.
Did you actually dive into that when you were deciding to go? And it seems like the pasta was really your motivation. Just I get to eat pasta, so whatever that diet is, I'm going to try that right now. But was there any time in that first year where you did so much research on the things? Was it hard to find different things to eat for what you're doing?
In 2014, veganism was really becoming more mainstream. The 2 documentaries that I watched at that time were Forks Over Knives, which has a lot of plant-based vegan doctors in it. And one of the doctors that's really influential in that, his name is Dr. Esselstyn, and he also, his son is a firefighter and has created the Engine 2 diet. I bought both of those cookbooks instantly after I watched the documentaries. I went on Amazon, ordered the cookbooks, and gave myself a week to clean out my fridge. And starting January 1st, I made only recipes from those 2 cookbooks.
Yeah.
And
have you ever had any issues craving anything back, like going backwards? Like, let me get a piece of meat.
2 weeks after I had fully transitioned to veganism and I didn't look back for any reason, I made a drunken decision to eat chicken nachos one night, and I felt like death for 2 days. And after pretty much feeling like I had the flu, it was a complete shock to my system. I felt terrible, and I said, I'm never doing this again.
But was it the drunken decision to have to have chicken nachos, or was it the nachos, or do you now through all the 6 years that was the chicken? It was just you priving yourself of that type of protein source, and then all of a sudden it's just the chicken.
It was a non-vegan restaurant at 11 p.m. that had no vegan options, and all of my friends ordered a big plate for the table.
Yeah.
And
That's usually how it happens at those drunken nights.
You make poor decisions. And like I said, I felt so terrible that there have been no nights in the future where I have made that decision ever again. When people, I live on fries if there aren't options to eat out.
So just because you're vegan doesn't mean that you're eating broccoli all day and asparagus and carrots and stuff. You actually enjoy some of the things that me as a trainer say, okay, stay away with if you want to lose a little bit of weight.
I eat all the same things that everyone else does.
Yeah.
My plate just looks a little different. If you eat burgers, I eat burgers. You eat hot dogs, I eat hot dogs. We do pizza night in my house once a week. Tonight we're making shepherd's pie.
Okay.
I don't feel like removing an animal product from my food changed anything about the meals I get to enjoy. It just means I prepare them a little bit differently.
Yeah. So let's go in a little deeper about the vegan process. What is it that's the biggest change for you on, because I know you know your proteins now. I know you know where fiber comes from more so than a lot of people out there. So why don't you dive into a little bit of what makes you enjoy the vegan process and being vegan so much?
When I first went vegan, I think a lot of people who go vegan will tell you they had high blood pressure or diabetes or a series of health problems. I didn't have any health problems. So I didn't recover from anything. I think I might have lost 5 pounds, so nothing noteworthy to write home about. But I think the best way to describe it is my life went from being in color to being in technicolor. And all of a sudden I woke up with endless amounts of energy. I was going to work and my brain was so clear. I would eat lunch and I could just zoom through the rest of my day. I had so much energy that I didn't know what to do with myself. And I saw people out running on the street and thought they looked like they were having fun. And I started running.
Oh, okay.
And
so you started running after you became vegan.
I just didn't know how to channel all that energy, and I started running. And then I started running marathons.
Okay, straight there. You just had that much energy. Now, it wasn't from fries, was it? I mean, you weren't still eating fries. You actually decided, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm actually going to do this right and see how I feel. So, did you? How hard did you stick onto it outside of that one hiccup of the 2 weeks into it?
I never counted calories. I never counted macros. I never figured out what grams of protein I was supposed to be eating. I ate when I was hungry. I stopped when I was full. I had enormous plates of food. When you're eating a lot of vegetables, you can eat a huge amount before you're reaching any kind of point where you should be concerned about overindulging. And I just ate. I eventually found the website that I work for now, No Meat Athlete. I ran a 5K with my work. I had so much fun with that 5K. I crossed the finish line. I looked at the time boyfriend and I said, I think I'm gonna run a marathon. And it was August, and the city I lived in had a December marathon. Okay. And I said, I think I got enough time to train. Went home, bought a training plan, mapped out my training, and started training for marathons.
Wow, yeah. So that's that's 2014. So the end of 2014 is when you did your first marathon, December. Yes. Oh, that's pretty recent still. So you've been running recently, and then how we know is HIIT training. So I've added weight training since I've known you into your life. Again, if it was in college in those 20s when you're just working out to work out. Yeah. But so you worked for No Meat Athlete. So you said you did a 5K. Were they the program that you bought? Was that their program that you did?
I had just been running for fun. I was working as an esthetician, and the spa that I worked at sponsored a race in town, and they told us we could all have the day off if we ran the race.
Oh, just sign me up.
So yes,
I'll walk
I said I will take that free day off work. I will run that race. I had no intention of falling in love with doing this. I had been running around my neighborhood for fun. I knew I could do the 5K. I did it. I loved it. I thought everything about that race was great. I loved being at the start line. I loved running with all these people that were excited. I loved finishing. I loved getting, the medal they give you. Like, it was just the most exciting thing I had ever done. I fell in love with the sport. I was completely alone doing this. I didn't have any friends that ran. I didn't have groups. I didn't even know that you needed proper shoes at this point.
Okay. So wait, you're running in flip-flops or what?
I was running in whatever Target sneakers I had at home. I was so inspired that, being a vegan, I went online and obviously put in vegan athlete or marathon training.
Yeah.
At that point in time, No Meat Athlete was probably one of the only people doing this as in the platform that they are now.
Yeah.
I bought a marathon training plan. I trained for the rest of the year to run a marathon, and again, loved it so much. I crossed the finish line, and some random woman came up to me and said, if you do this again in 6 weeks, you'll be better.
No, and you did?
Yeah.
No kidding.
I have no idea why.
What's the typical downtime between marathons for professional marathon runners?
Most people only run 1 or 2 marathons a year.
Even the professional ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did this one in December, and because January is a fairly snowy and cold month in most of the country, I signed up for the next one I could find was February.
Yeah.
So I took a week off to recover and then started long run training again. And in this time, I was so inspired by what I was doing, I sent an email to No Meat Athlete and I said, you should hire me.
No, so that's how you got it. So you just enjoyed the training program they provided you, the event that you had been doing. You have this enormous amount of energy from turning vegan, which we'll dive in a little bit deeper with there. And now you're asking and telling them that they should hire you at No Meat Athlete, and now you're there. So.
And they did. They asked me if I was vegan. They asked me if I did any sports. We got to know each other. They live in Asheville, North Carolina, and at this time I was in Tennessee. So we had a few Skype calls and we got to know each other. I was working as an esthetician at a spa, and I just didn't feel like that was my true calling in life. It didn't fulfill me in my soul. And I just felt that working for No Meat Athlete, working with plant-based endurance athletes was what I was doing in my personal life. And I knew that if I could help other people experience what I had just experienced, that was going to make my soul happy. So
there's a bigger purpose besides the selfish Esther that wanted just to run a marathon for herself. Now it actually became like, I want to share with the world and other people, and if I can get paid doing it, helping a company grow, then let me show how much energy you can have from this. So because I'm not vegan, I might be plant-based and I might be your fat trainer half the time, but you've never argued with any of the trainers about being meat source. All you've done is talked about what it's done for you, and I always appreciate that, because I've had some heated arguments with people vegan on the animal rights issues and all that, which they have the right to argue those things. It's just, that's just how I was raised, and the caveman mentality is still in me, and it's worked for me. So let's dive into where No Meat Athlete hired you. And are they just a running company? Do they just do running programs? What is it? What are they really known for?
The founder, his name is Matt Frazier. Now it's probably 12 years ago. He also randomly decided to run a marathon. Didn't train. This was obviously before he had created this training plan, and just bonked and had a terrible experience. But decided after that he wanted to qualify for the Boston Marathon. So he spent 7 years training and becoming injured and learning various things, training for Boston, and decided at one point that he was going to go vegetarian and started blogging about it. This is probably 2008, 2009, when blogging was still really new and really interesting. And he would just blog about his training and blog about his runs and blog about the recipes he was cooking. His vegetarian became vegan. His vegan blog posts became a podcast. He hired another gentleman to do the podcast with him. No Meat Athlete grew and grew. Now there's No Meat Athlete run groups in almost every major city, almost across the world. I know they're in every United States city, but we've got Germany, Paris.
Oh wow! Okay.
England. We've almost every major Western country has a No Meat Athlete run group. And so
So how does No Meat Athlete, what's their business model? Is it just selling training programs? Do you guys have supplements? Do you guys just encourage recipes that you guys do? What is it?
all of it.
All of it.
So it originally was the three of us, and we built
So when you got hired, there was only
just the two of them.
It was just the two owners, and then you came on.
And a couple of guest contributors
who
wrote periodically, and me. So I did all their customer service. I do a lot of back end, if you're on a website, you find a dead link and you email and you say something's wrong, it's me. I correct, I help, I assist with everybody with everything. The biggest thing we do is we've created an academy. So after 10 years in business, all the interviews and training plans and recipes. So we have a No Meat Athlete Academy. We sell subscription services to it. We have 34 modules. We have 15 workshops. We have a private Facebook group that I maintain. We do weekly newsletters. We do 30-day challenges a handful of times a year. And we do all kinds of support for your fitness, your nutrition, and your mindset for any plant-based athlete.
Wow.
And that is primarily what we do. Since then, we have partnered with a new entrepreneur. We branched out. We have a second company called Complement for plant-based athletes or non-athletes. If you struggle to maintain a really well-rounded plant-based diet, there are some minerals and nutrients that are somewhat hard to source. Not impossible, mind you, but more difficult.
So what are the struggles? Let's dive into that. What are the struggles? Because I know a lot of people, especially people like me, that say there's not enough protein in vegetables. Where am I getting my protein? If they're already an athlete, I'm not getting enough protein to recover. Most people know the basics that are already into fitness, know that they need protein to recover and they need carbs for energy. Right. So what do you guys always, when you guys are encouraging people that want to try, but then they always are arguing, hey, there's not enough protein and stuff. So what are the things that have enough protein, and what are you guys usually telling people?
Well, there's protein in everything.
Yeah.
If you're eating plants, you're eating protein. If you are eating a well-rounded plant-based diet, which means that you have a wide variety of colorful vegetables, beans, seeds, legumes, you're eating your carbs, as long as your diet is well balanced, you are going to consume all of the protein that you need.
So with a new vegan, then what's the first things you tell? Just keep multiple colors on your plates on all 3 meals of the day.
Count your colors.
Count your colors. Yeah, that's what I know.
Count your colors and focus on your fiber more than your protein. Your protein is there. Your protein you will not be short protein just by eating plants.
Yeah.
You will increase your fiber content by eating plants, and that's going to be your biggest internal hurdle to overcome. If you've been eating a standard American diet, it doesn't tend to include as much fiber.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with eating meat in your diet. I don't condone. I'm not pooping on anybody who does, but meat doesn't have fiber.
Literally pooping on people.
Not literally. But meat doesn't have fiber, so it doesn't push everything through your body.
Yeah.
So when when your meat switches to a tofu or a tempeh or a bean or a lentil, it is now a protein source with fiber.
Yeah.
So your fiber is where you really should be thinking about what you're lacking in your diet.
So when they're thinking about doing it, they're kind of half changing. They're just adding more vegetables into their diet, but they haven't committed to doing. They're almost like me. Plant-based is important for me. I'm still going to get my meat source just because that's where most of us are still stubborn. I mean, remember back even with you and me back in our high school days, the pyramid, that's a wash. That's been a wash for the past 10 years. So if anyone's actually watched any of these documentaries and gone to school, it's comical.
Don't watch the pyramid.
Yeah, it's comical how off that is now, because science is, that's the thing about that I've brought up in many of the episodes is exercise hasn't changed over the years. The science behind the exercises has, and me and Bobby have talked about that numerous times. And the same thing when it comes to our nutrition. The vegetables have been out there for thousands of years. It's just the more science behind what each vegetable has. And now, then all of a sudden you see these little kicks, especially now that we have social media world and it's easy access. We can find out why avocados are so good, why kale had a big kick before. Kale's been around forever. Avocados been around forever. Now they're just mass produced.
They have a good marketing department.
Yeah, and other vegetables need those marketing departments as well. And people like you and No Meat Athletes company, they teach people like me that how to switch. And you're telling everyone is to focus on the fibers and the bright colors, and then you'll see those natural changes. Now, just be careful on the digestive system. Your body's going to have to take a few days, few weeks to get used to that, and then it'll be back to normal.
Take it slow. Don't dive into eating salads 4 or 5 meals a day and be surprised when you have some intestinal issues. If you suffered, a lot of meat eaters have IBS or various digestive issues.
Yeah.
So recovering from anything that might be uncomfortable to transitioning to a plant-based diet does take some time. I can attest it took me 2 weeks for my system to transition over. And today there is no amount of fiber that causes me problems.
Okay.
I eat fruit and vegetables all day long, a lot of them raw. I drink a lot of smoothies, and we'll just say I have a nice clean system.
And you're eating all the time too. You don't necessarily do the 2-3 meals a day and a shake. You're just eating when you want to eat, right?
I eat 4 main meals a day and a lot of snacks.
Is that more of just the time, just because you're working and it's just the time, like, okay, let's just have breakfast, lunch, dinner, a big old snack, maybe a shake itself, and then I'll snack when I'm randomly going through my kitchen?
I like breakfast before I work out. I have coffee and I always have breakfast. Personally, I like avocado toast in the morning, but I need to eat something before I do a workout. If I'm working out burning 400 plus calories, I need food in my system. So I eat breakfast, I work out, I come home ready to eat again. I eat either what is left over from dinner because I'm generally too lazy to prepare anything, or I make giant smoothies. I eat lunch 2 hours later, but that means I eat lunch at 11 o'clock in the morning. So I'm hungry 2 or 3 hours later. I eat lots of snacks throughout the afternoon, lots of fruit, lots of nuts, any salad sometimes if I'm particularly hungry. And then we eat dinner as a couple at night.
Just like everyone else is doing. It's just that you just don't have the chicken and steak with you. Yeah. Well, so what about the No Meat Athlete? Are you guys only a running program? Do you guys do other lifting programs as well?
We do today. The No Meat Athlete of 2020 does everything. We have a vegan strength building program. We have a body transformation program. We have a yoga program. We have a triathlon program. We have a meditation program. We have an intermittent fasting program if that interests you. We have the simple 7-day meal plan for how to get started. We have a mindset program for how to change your habits. Nothing to do with veganism whatsoever. But building
habits are always a struggle when it comes to changing to a better healthy eating and or exercise program, and adding exercise habits as always is. We're big on this show talking about scheduling, keeping on a schedule. People are too busy these days, so you need to stay on a schedule until you have that flexibility in your life just to be random. It's just, you just need a little bit organized and to actually get, especially changing from the American diet to a vegan, you're going to have to stay on a schedule for a while to get used to that, I'm sure.
It's a lot less calories on your plate if you don't have a meat source. So the beginning stages of learning to eat a plant-based diet or a vegetarian or vegan diet, I mean, it means that if you were to eat the same plate and you just took out your fish or your chicken and you swapped it for tofu, you're losing a lot of calories that way. So you have to eat more. The idea of going plant-based and vegan is not to reduce your calories. It's not necessarily a weight loss program. You should be eating just as many calories, just as many macronutrients, just as many of everything, just in a slightly different form. So
Yeah.
sometimes learning to adjust, especially if you're an athlete or an endurance athlete, or you burn a lot of calories or lift a lot of heavy weights, your needs change.
Yeah.
And learning to adjust, I would imagine that would be an adjustment whether you were eating meat or not eating meat.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's one of the things that for the non-vegan people out there that you suggest them just to do just for their general health, that just the one thing that you just tell your friends to say, okay, start eating this thing and you'll see a difference.
Eat a salad before your meal.
Eat a salad before your meal?
One of our favorite...
before you eat your french fries, you have the salad.
Right. One of our favorite tips that we always give at No Meat Athlete is while you're cooking dinner, you're in the kitchen, your water's boiling, whatever you're doing, eat your salad.
Oh, yeah. Even while you're cooking? Does that work?
I mean...
Obviously, you guys have been telling everyone. So.
It depends on what you're cooking. I mean, everybody's life is a little bit different. If you are the kind of person that puts the water on to boil and goes and sits and watches TV for 5 minutes while you wait, eat your salad. If you are the kind of person that when your pasta is ready, you're going to want to eat dinner, you're not going to eat your salad.
Oh, so it's so the same rule. So you guys are telling the same rules were how I grew up. Eat your vegetables first, then the fun stuff. You always save the fries, the fun stuff for last, anyways. Like we always save dessert after we're done eating the veggies and stuff, right? So yeah, so it's the same rule of thumb there. Just eat your salad and then go into the rest of your meal, whatever that might be, and then and if you do that regularly, you're saying that they'll actually see a little bit better balance.
And salads don't have to suck. I think salads get a bad rap. As a vegan, none of us live on salads.
Yeah.
But your salads can be awesome. Start with leafy greens. None of us get enough leafy greens. There's just no way possible anybody's getting enough leafy greens. And then pick the vegetables you like. If you like carrots, I love carrots. I love broccoli slaw. I love those two things. I love the crunch. My boyfriend loves cucumbers. I don't like cucumbers. If you like nuts and seeds, you can make tons of homemade oil-free dressings. And if it's oil-free, you're not using a ton of calories. A ton of oil is pretty heavily processed. It has no fiber left in it. You could make an at-home dressing that fits anything you like. I love peanut butter dressings, which are a little fattier, but they're super delicious.
And a lot of people are allergic to peanuts nowadays, so you got to be careful with that. But you're saying you're taking those oils away really quick by just changing up the source of nutrition. So that's always a good thing. So, all right, let's wrap this up. Let everyone know where they can find out more information about No Meat Athlete and Esther herself. Where are you everywhere?
So I am the one behind nomeatathlete.com. So if you need anything from that website, you're going to deal with me. Our sister companies are Complement. That's our supplement product. If you are looking to supplement any of your nutrition and don't feel like you're getting your adequate nutrition from your plants, we can help fill that in at lovecomplement.com. And our third sister company is 80/20 Plant. So if you are interested in transitioning to a plant-based diet and don't know where to start, because it can be a fairly overwhelming process, we have a slew of health coaches, dietitians, nutritionists, holistic nutritionists, and the list goes on at 8020plants.com, which is a 30-day program to help you transition to a plant-based diet.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here, Esther. Appreciate that. So thank you guys. So pay attention. We'll keep all of her information and No Meat Athlete information in the links below. So check her out. Check out this and look forward to more information from Esther. And if you're on our social media, she'll be in our workouts as well. So you can see her all sweaty and ready during those times too. So, all right, guys, thanks for listening. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching or listening to today's episode. We'd love if you leave a comment down below. Don't forget to give us a 5-star review, like us, share us, and follow all the guests from today's episode. And remember, if it was easy, it'd be damn cheesy.